Senator Waters.
Thanks very much, Mr President. My question is to the Minister representing the Minister for the Environment, Senator Cormann. I refer to the Prime Minister's recent claim that coal is good for humanity.
Order on my right. Order.
You guys, honestly, a bunch of clowns.
Order on
You're
my
a
right.
bunch of clowns. Seriously.
Just wait a moment, Senator Waters. On my right. Order. Senator O'Sullivan. Senator Waters.
Thank you, President. I note that the Indian Conservation Action Trust has calculated that pollution from coal kills between 80,000 and 115,000 people in India every year, and that 300 million poor Indians could not afford Australian coal,
right.
and that many aren't connected to the grid anyway, and what's needed is distributed renewable energy. When will the government accept that coal is not good for humanity, but rather is good for the private profits of the big mining donors to the Liberal Party?
Order. The Minister for Finance, Senator Cormann, representing the Minister for the Environment.
Thank you very much, Mr President. I very much thank Senator Waters for that question. Let me say it very slowly for the benefit of Senator Waters and for the benefit of the Senate. Coal is good. Coal is good. It is at the heart of our economic prosperity here in Australia and around the world. It has helped lift living standards for people right across the world. It will continue to help lift living standards around the world. And of course, this just proves, the Labor Party wants us to all move back into a cave and not move. The Labor Party doesn't believe in progress. Sorry, the Greens. Sorry, I apologise.
I agree with that.
Order.
My sincere apologies. Only half the Labor Party and the Greens don't believe in progress. Half the Labor Party and the Greens want us to move back into a cave and just not do anything. But on this side of the chamber, and perhaps some people on the Labor side of the chamber, we actually believe in policies to drive stronger economic growth. We believe that it is a good thing for people to have the opportunity to get ahead. We believe it's a good thing for people across Australia to be able to aspire to better opportunities, to increase prosperity into the future. And of course, the policies pursued by this government are very much a reflection of that. Because we believe that coal is good, because we believe that coal will continue to have a central part in driving economic growth in the future. That is why we got rid of the Labor green carbon tax. We got rid of this impost on households across Australia, this impost on businesses across Australia, making Australia less competitive without achieving any beneficial environmental outcomes. I very much thank Senator Waters for that question. I look forward
Thank
to
you,
the
Minister. The time for answering the question has expired. Senator Waters, a supplementary question.
Yes, thank you, Mr President. A supplementary. The Australian Academy of Science has today slammed the government's Reef 2050 plan as inadequate to protect the Great Barrier Reef because it represents business as usual on coal ports and because it fails to address climate change. When will this government start listening to the science on climate change and on the reef, instead of approving mega coal mines in the Galilee Basin and treating the reef simply as a highway for coal ships?
Minister.
Thank you very much, Mr President. Well, as I indicated to the Senate in response to the primary question, coal is good. And I know that we on this side of the chamber are not actually alone in that view. We do know that there is somebody out of Tasmania who shares our view. And who you might ask, who is that? Who is that? Well, it is none other. It is none other than Dr. Bob Brown. Dr. Bob Brown, who was
Order on my right.
Who was the director of the Tasmanian Wilderness Society said that coal-fired thermal was the best centralised option we have. And I couldn't have put it better myself. And you know what? So the Greens can come in here again and again and say that we should eliminate coal and we should stop using coal. But you know what? I refer Senator Waters back back to Dr. Bob Brown, as he was then when he was the director of the Tasmanian Wilderness Society. And what I
Thank
would
you,
say-
Senator Cormann. The time for answering the question has expired. Senator Waters, a final supplementary question.
Yes, thank you, President. I can see the government referring
Order,
to
Senator Bernardi. Senator Waters.
the government's referring to 30-year-old newspaper articles rather than the Academy of Science. That kind of is the point. I refer
Order on my
now to
right.
the.
Just pause a moment,
What you'd
Senator Waters.
expect from the peanut gallery.
Order. On my right, Senator Bernardi. He wouldn't be the first senator to ignore me, Senator Collins. Senator Waters, you have the call.
Thank you, Mr President. I refer to the announcement today from Investment Bank City that they will not be financing the Abbott Point coal port expansion in the Great Barrier Reef. In this, they join Deutsche Bank, HSBC, Credit Agricole, Barclays and the Royal Bank of Scotland.
Senator McDonald.
Given the risks to the reef and the risk of it becoming a stranded asset, will you rule out putting taxpayer money into the Abbott Point coal port expansion?
Minister.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Well, the first point I would make is that I am not responsible for the decisions that are made by individual investment banks when it comes to the investments they may or may not choose to pursue. That is a matter for them. What I can say further is that we can actually walk and chew gum at the same time. We can pursue economic growth in a way that is environmentally responsible. And of course, Minister Hunt has worked very hard to ensure that we have strong environmental protections at the same time as pursuing a very important economic growth opportunity for Australia, for Queensland and for Australia. It is obviously an opportunity of national significance, the previous government was looking at providing approvals there. It is fair to say that Minister Hunt has done an outstanding job in appropriately balancing environmental considerations
Pause
with
the
the
clock.
need to pursue.
Senator Waters, order, Minister. A point of order.
Yes, thanks, President. Just a point of order on relevance. I asked a specific question about will the government finance the Abbott Point expansion, given that the investment banks are abandoning it, and I haven't had a response and there's only 4 seconds to go.
Thank you, Senator Waters. There was a little bit more to your question than that. Minister, you have 4 seconds remaining to answer.
Thank you,
the
Mr.
question.
President. I believe I was directly relevant to the question. If there's anything that Minister Hunt wishes to add to the
Thank you, Minister.
answer,
The
I would
time for
ask him.
answering the question has expired.